Let me tell you something most people will never admit: being alone is a power move, not just a phase, not just some temporary situation, but a strategic decision. Everyone's racing to be in a relationship like it's some kind of trophy, like it's the pinnacle of life. People act like finding someone to latch onto is the ultimate measure of success. It's not. That's the lie they sell you because they're scared of the truth, scared of facing who they really are when all the distractions are stripped away. Most people don't actually want love. They want a shield from themselves. You see, the second you're alone, the mask falls off. There's no one to play pretend for, no one to impress, just the raw version of who you are. And let me tell you, that raw version is usually weak, lazy, undisciplined, and full of excuses. That's why people jump into relationships, because they can't handle that mirror. They need noise, they need company. They need someone to pacify their insecurities and tell them, "You're doing great." Even when they're stuck at the bottom, that's not strength, that's dependence, and dependence is weakness. When you choose to live alone, truly alone, you step into a different dimension. No one's telling you when to eat. No one's checking if you went to the gym. No one's watching if you stuck to your routine. You either do it or you don't. You either execute or you fall behind. That's how warriors are built. Solitude exposes your flaws, but it also gives you the chance to correct them. It puts the weight of responsibility squarely on your shoulders. That weight is heavy, but it makes you stronger if you stop running from it. People say it's lonely to live alone. Of course it is. But loneliness isn't your enemy. Weakness is. And if being alone makes you uncomfortable, that discomfort is a gift. It's the first sign of growth. That discomfort is your soul screaming, "Wake up." You're not supposed to be numb, scrolling through your phone next to someone who doesn't challenge you. You're not supposed to live in a fog of mediocrity just because you're scared of the silence. The silence is where the truth lives. It's where focus is born. It's where power is found. You know why most people never build anything significant: because they're too distracted. They waste their prime years in half-baked relationships that drain their energy and offer nothing in return. Time spent arguing, time spent chasing, time spent compromising with people who don't understand your vision and never will. You lose momentum every time you involve yourself with someone who isn't aligned with your purpose. And the worst part, you don't even realize how much you've lost until it's too late. Until your fire is dimmed, your potential wasted, your dreams watered down. When you live alone, when you operate on your own terms, everything changes. You set your schedule, you control your environment, you choose your battles. No one's dragging you into their emotional mess. No one's asking you to sacrifice your goals for their comfort. You are free. Free to rise, free to grind, free to chase the highest version of yourself with zero interference. That's not isolation, that's strategy. That's building from the foundation up, brick by brick, without any weak links pulling the structure down. People will say you need balance, that you need someone to support you. That's cute, but support is not something you're entitled to. It's something you earn by becoming someone worth supporting. And if you're still in the early stages of your journey, broke, undisciplined, mentally soft, you've got no business searching for emotional validation in someone else. You don't need a relationship. You need a mission. You need purpose, structure, discipline. A relationship without a mission is just two people distracting each other from the work they should be doing. Living alone is how you find your edge. It's how you figure out who you are when no one's watching. Do you fold when life hits you, or do you fight back? Do you train when it's hard, or do you make excuses? Do you push yourself, or do you need someone else to drag you out of bed? The answers to those questions define everything. When you live alone, the truth comes out. You can't fake it anymore. You can't blame anyone else. It's all on you, and let's be real. Most people can't handle that kind of pressure. They crack. That's why they're so eager to run back to relationships, to comfort, to someone who tells them it's okay to be soft. But being soft never built an empire. Being comfortable never produced a warrior. Comfort is the enemy of greatness and relationships. Most of them, not all, are designed to make you comfortable. They make you lazy. They make you forget who you were before you started compromising every inch of your time and energy. You don't become high value by chasing connection. You become high value by building yourself in silence, in darkness, in solitude. That's where the transformation happens, when it's 3 a.m. and everyone's asleep and you're grinding. When it's day 60 of no contact, no sex, no validation, just raw focus and discipline, that's when the real version of you begins to emerge. That's when you stop being a follower and start becoming a leader. You start demanding more from yourself. You start setting higher standards, and you stop settling for anything or anyone that doesn't meet those standards. Now let's talk about energy. Your energy is your most valuable asset. Who you spend time with, who you share your space with, who you let into your inner circle. These decisions determine your entire future. Most relationships are energy drains, constant emotional turbulence. One day it's passion, the next day it's arguments, jealousy, manipulation. That's not peace, that's chaos, and chaos kills progress. You can't build anything solid in chaos. You can't plan, you can't execute, you can't grow. You're too busy firefighting emotional drama that shouldn't even exist in the first place. When you're alone, your energy becomes focused, pure, lethal. You walk into a room with certainty. You know what you want, and you don't ask for permission. You're not second, guessing your decisions based on someone else's opinions. You just move, decisive, cold, calculated, efficient. That's power. And that power only comes when you've spent enough time alone to know who you really are and what you truly value. Let me ask you something. How many people do you know who have lost everything because of the wrong relationship? How many people had momentum, drive, potential, but threw it all away for someone who didn't even respect them? It happens every day. You see men with dreams giving up on themselves to chase women who don't care. You see women abandoning their growth to stay with men who drain them, all because they can't bear the thought of being alone. That's weakness, that's emotional suicide. Being alone is not lonely. Being alone is training. It's sharpening your mind. It's building emotional resilience. It's practicing control. When you're alone, you're forced to regulate your emotions, think logically, and act with purpose. You're not reacting to someone else's chaos. You're not adjusting your plan to fit someone else's mood swings. You just move, you build, you conquer, every day without interference. People ask, don't you get lonely? Of course. But loneliness is a test. Can you stand the silence long enough to hear your inner voice? Can you sit with your own pain long enough to learn from it? Or do you need someone to rescue you, to distract you, to tell you lies just to make you feel better? The lonely man is the honest man. The man in solitude faces reality, and that's the man who wins in the long run. Most people jump from one relationship to the next like junkies chasing a high. They're addicted to the feeling of being needed, being wanted. But that feeling fades, and when it does, they're stuck with the same unresolved issues they were running from. They never evolve. They just repeat the cycle over and over, until life passes them by, and they're left wondering where their potential went. It got lost in the comfort. It got buried under the lies they told themselves to stay emotionally safe. If you really want to grow, if you really want to become something more, stop chasing connection and start mastering solitude. Be alone on purpose with intention. Embrace the discomfort. Learn to love your own company. Build your empire in silence. Let the world wonder what you're doing while you disappear into the grind. You don't need a relationship to feel valuable. You need results, you need wins, you need power that comes from doing the work consistently without distraction. So stop looking for someone to complete you. You're not incomplete. You're just undisciplined. You're just distracted. Fix that first. Become so focused, so sharp, so powerful that anyone who comes into your life has to rise to your level or get left behind. That's what solitude gives you: clarity, control, and the leverage to never settle again. Ever? People have been brainwashed to believe that being in a relationship automatically means you've made it, like it's some kind of badge of honor. But nobody talks about how many people are dying slowly in relationships that kill their spirit, dull their ambition, and suffocate their potential. They're trapped not by bars, but by comfort. They've given up their freedom for some half-baked version of love that barely even resembles partnership, and they stay not because it's good, but because they're scared of what's on the other side: silence, solitude, responsibility. Let's get something straight. There's nothing lonelier than being with the wrong person. Nothing drains your soul faster than waking up next to someone who doesn't understand your purpose. You spend your energy explaining your goals, defending your grind, justifying your discipline, and for what? Approval, acceptance. If you have to shrink yourself to make someone else feel secure, you've already lost. That's not a relationship. That's a prison with a smile. And too many people are serving life sentences in that exact situation because they lack the courage to walk alone. The truth is, walking alone is a test of strength most people will never take. It's not easy. You don't get hand-holding. You don't get emotional backup every time you feel down. You don't get someone whispering, "You've got this." When life hits hard, you either rise or you collapse. And most will collapse because they've been conditioned to rely on emotional crutches. That's what a lot of relationships are, mutual crutches. Two broken people leaning on each other so neither has to walk alone. But the moment one falls, the whole thing comes crashing down. Being alone is the opposite. It's real. It's raw. There are no illusions. You can't fake strength when no one's watching. You can't pretend to be focused when it's just you in the room. You either get the work done or you rot, and that reality will scare the average person, but it should excite you, because that's where growth lies. In the fire, in the pressure, in the silence. That's where you stop being average and start becoming a weapon. You want to know why people fear being alone? Because solitude is a mirror, and most people hate their reflection. They know they're not who they pretend to be. They know their habits are trash, their discipline is a joke, and their dreams are dying from neglect. When you're alone, all those truths start screaming at you, and if you're weak, you'll do anything to drown them out. You'll chase relationships, parties, cheap validation, anything to avoid facing yourself. But if you're strong, you'll use that mirror as fuel. You'll study every flaw, every crack, every weakness, and you'll fix them alone. People waste years in relationships that do nothing for their evolution. They settle for partners who don't sharpen them, don't challenge them, don't build with them. It's comfortable. It's familiar. It's easy. But easy doesn't make you better. Comfort doesn't forge greatness. Relationships that don't demand your growth are slow poison. They kill your potential one compromise at a time. And by the time you wake up, it's too late. Your dreams are gone. Your fire is out. And you're just another ghost, drifting through life, wondering where it all went wrong. The dangerous thing is, most people won't even realize it's happening, because relationships give you just enough dopamine to keep you sedated, just enough routine to make you feel safe, just enough connection to keep you from breaking completely. But not enough to make you grow, not enough to pull the beast out of you, not enough to make you confront the demons you've been running from. That's why solitude beats it every time, because when you're alone, you either evolve or perish. There's no middle ground, no comfort zone, just you, your goals, and the raw truth. Solitude isn't a punishment, it's a weapon. It's the environment where true transformation happens. When you're alone, your thoughts get louder. Your focus sharpens, your instincts awaken. You start to realize how much time you were wasting trying to please people who didn't even deserve access to your life. You start cutting off the noise, the distractions, the meaningless attachments. You stop looking for someone to save you and start saving yourself. That shift is everything. That shift makes you dangerous, and here's the brutal reality. Not everyone deserves to walk your path. Not everyone deserves access to your energy, your time, your vision. But when you're desperate for companionship, you'll settle. You'll lower your standards. You'll tolerate behavior that disrespects your purpose. You'll allow weak energy into your space because you're scared to be alone. That fear will cost you everything. It'll rob you of your edge, your focus, your drive. It'll make you soft. It'll make you slow. And in a world where speed and precision matter, softness is suicide. When you master the art of being alone, you gain power. You stop needing. You start choosing. You stop begging for attention and start commanding respect. You stop explaining your grind and start living it with such intensity that no explanation is needed. People can feel it. They can see it in your eyes, in your walk, in your silence. They know you've built something inside yourself that can't be shaken. That's the level you reach when solitude becomes your sanctuary, not your prison. Most relationships are distractions dressed up as destiny. They pull you off course, drain your focus, dilute your ambition, and you don't even realize it because it feels good. It feels like connection. But it's not connection, it's comfort, and comfort will kill you long before failure ever will. That's why the great ones isolate. That's why the warriors train alone. That's why the builders, the leaders, the legends disappear before they rise. They know the cost of greatness. They understand that alone time isn't optional, it's mandatory. The world will tell you that you need balance, that you need to open your heart, that you need someone to grow with. That's cute advice for average people, but if your goal is domination, if you want to become something rare, something elite, then you don't have time for fairy tales. You don't have time to gamble your future on someone else's emotions. You need focus, you need clarity, you need tunnel vision, and the only way to get that is by walking alone until your path is so clear, so undeniable, that anyone who enters your life must rise or be removed. You don't owe anyone access. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Your time is your currency. Spend it wisely. Relationships are the most expensive investment you'll ever make. They'll either multiply your value or bankrupt your future. Choose wrong and you'll spend years recovering from the damage. Choose solitude and you'll spend that same time building empires, becoming unshakable, becoming the kind of person who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't explain, just executes. You have to decide what you want more, connection or control, because you can't have both, not in the early stages. You can't build dominance while babysitting someone else's insecurities. You can't chase purpose while constantly explaining why you work late. You can't elevate if you're dragging dead weight. You need absolute freedom to move, to pivot, to adapt. That freedom only exists when you walk alone. And the ones who understand that will always be 5 steps ahead of everyone else. Solitude teaches you how to be loyal to your own vision. It teaches you how to generate motivation, discipline, fire. It teaches you how to navigate pain without reaching for external comfort. That level of independence is rare and threatening. That's why people will try to pull you back into the herd. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're cold, distant, arrogant, but they won't say it because it's true. They'll say it because your evolution makes them uncomfortable. Your discipline exposes their laziness. Your power reminds them of their weakness. Let them talk. Stay alone. Stay building. Because when you do finally let someone into your world, it'll be on your terms. You'll be complete, whole, disciplined. You won't need them. You'll choose them. And there's a world of difference between needing and choosing. Needing is weak. Choosing is powerful. A hive. Al. You man or woman doesn't need validation, affection, attention. They're already full. They've already faced the silence and won. And when 2 people like that come together, it's not chaos, it's alignment, it's synergy, it's an empire in motion, but you don't get there by chasing. You get there by grinding, alone, day after day, night after night. You sit in the silence, you feel the pain, you push anyway, you break, you rebuild, and slowly you become unrecognizable. Not because someone loved you, but because you loved the process more than you feared the loneliness. That's what separates the elite from the average. That's the difference between a life of mediocrity and a life of legacy. So if you're alone right now, good, stay there, get comfortable in the silence. Let it mold you, sharpen you, build you. Stop looking for someone to walk with. Focus on your own stride. The ones worth walking with will find you when you've already arrived, not before, not during. But after you've built the foundation, after you've mastered yourself, after you've proven to the universe that you don't need anything but the mission, that's when alignment happens, and until then, stay solo, stay focused, stay lethal. So here's the truth. If you want to win, if you want to dominate life on your terms, you must earn it in silence. You must be willing to walk alone, build alone, rise alone. Let the world chase comfort, validation, and codependency. You chase discipline, clarity, and power, because the man or woman who conquers solitude, who thrives without applause, without hand, holding without emotional safety nets, that person becomes unstoppable. And when you finally stand at the top, forged in silence, unshaken by loneliness, built by fire, then, and only then, will you realize leaving alone didn't just beat any relationship. It built the only relationship that truly mattered, your relationship with greatness.